Hi everyone, welcome to Greekish Outdoors. Today we are looking at my EDC or everyday carry. So stick around. So an EDC or everyday carry is a bag which you take with you every day, which contains essential items that you might need in case of any issues you have during the day. It can contain a variety of things from first aid to clothing to even something to eat. Today I'm going to go through my EDC with you guys and show you what I carry with me at all times. Now my EDC does change from season to season and also depending on the trip I'm taking. This is the smallest version I take with me. If I'm going camping or hiking, then this EDC goes in the back of the car along with my other gear, or my main bag becomes my EDC for that day or a few days. Anyway, let's get in and show you what I've got inside. So in one of the side packages I always carry at least 500 mils of water. Most of the time it's actually a litre. Just a basic plastic bottle full of water on the side pouch. The second side pouch I have more liquid. Today I've actually gone for a slightly smaller one. This is just 330 millilitres and it is something with some sugar in it. So a drink which allows the liquids to be absorbed better into my body, so something with some sugar or salts is essential too, plus it also gives you a little bit of a morale boost. In the top of my bag, on the front pouch, very easily to access, is a first aid kit. As you can see, about the size of my hand. Let's have a look what's inside this. So this is a basic first aid kit which I take with me at all times. We open this up and inside it's two halves, both zipped up for convenience, and I have some tissues, a bar of soap because you never know when you want to wash your hands, some antibacterial wipes. I have here a large dressing, a pack of nitrile gloves, some lozenges for my throat, and I also have a Mylar emergency blanket. On the second half I have a 1 ml sterile syringe. I have a salbutamol inhaler. Now I don't have asthma, but I carry one of these because you never know who in your party is asthmatic or has breathing issues and might need one of these in emergency. I also have two 5 ml sterile saline bottles. This is ideal for washing your eyes with. I have a couple of these rehydratable towels, which I've found in the past to be extremely useful. I have a little universal bottle with a variety of pills, from painkillers to anti-anxiety medication to antihistamines, just in case. I then have a cardboard wallet with 20 different waterproof plasters. The first aid guide which originally came with this bag. We have a wound cleansing wipe. I have a little pack with some needle and thread. I have two sterile needles which are of different gauges. Two of these triangular bandages. And that is everything in this first aid kit. So now let's look in this next compartment. So in here I have a headlamp. This is a Nature Hike induction lamp which I've previously reviewed on the channel. Rechargeable, I always keep it fully charged. Really handy to have one of these in emergency. And I have my Leatherman Wingman multi-tool. It's got pliers, it's got knives, it's got scissors on here. Really useful to have something like this. And that is that little compartment. Next up, I've got a pair of chopsticks and a US MRE spoon. I have some alcohol hand gel I know I have these in my first aid kit, but I do like redundancies, so I've got another pack of tissues and a pack of antibacterial wipes. They're both super useful on a daily basis. I also have in here a fire steel and striker. And lastly in this compartment, I have an Anker power bank and a variety of different cables to charge up my gear. Moving on to the main compartment. Now here is packed full of useful items. First up, I have a shemagh, which you can use for a number of different things, including a towel, a fire starter, a scarf, a head covering. You can use it in emergency in combination with a stick as a tourniquet. Loads of different uses. Today I'm going to use it mainly to wipe my brow, as it is super hot here in Greece. Next up is a woolly hat. Now yes, it is over 30 degrees here in Greece today, but in the night time, if I'm high up in the mountains, which I often am, it does get a little bit chilly, so something to cover your head is always useful. Next up is a notebook. Really handy to have one of these if you need to jot anything down, including your location, your well-being for later use, or just to pass the time making notes, which I often do for future videos. So I have a pencil and a pen. There's little pockets on the side for you to slot other things in there. Next up is a spare t-shirt, just a plain black one I've got here today, but a change of clothes. If you get wet, sweaty, you want a fresh set of clothes, especially if you're going to be trapped somewhere overnight. Next is a knife. Mine is the Mora Heavy Duty. It's a pretty robust knife, razor sharp, out of the box. You never know, you can use this for carefully battening sticks with, for carving, for cutting up food, for cutting line and rope. It's just so useful to have a knife with you in case of emergencies. Speaking of line, I have a good few meters here of paracord. Again, I can use this if I really need to in emergency to make a shelter with. I can even use this to start a fire with. Again, really useful to have some sort of cordage. I put this in my bag last time because it's what I had to hand, but you could use bank line, which to be honest would be lighter. You could also use it for lighting a fire, and similar amount of uses as this does anyway. Next in the bag is a towel. Yes, I said I have my shemagh for a towel, but there's nothing like having a redundancy. This is just a nice cotton Miltech towel. Again, if you need a wash, you need to wipe yourself down, can't go wrong. Next up in here is a poncho. This is a fairly good quality poncho I bought online. It's large enough where it'll keep me dry, but also large enough where I can use this as a makeshift tarp to make a shelter with. It comes in its own little plastic case, which again is useful for carrying things around if you need to, so there's secondary use there. Some people would rather take a tarp, but for me, I like multiple uses out of the same item. This not only I can walk around with, but also I can use it as a shelter too. I also have a heating patch. This is an 8-hour version. It's roughly the size of my hand, but it'll give you heat for 8 hours. These add a little bit of extra comfort. If you're freezing cold, could give you that little bit extra motivation to carry on. And last but not least is a cooking pot. I've gone for a titanium cooking pot because it saves on the weight, but inside there's a bundle of extra stuff which I'll show you now. Right, so in this titanium cooking pot I have a isotonic beverage mix. This one is actually out of a French ration pack. Really fast hydration for you when you're on the go. I have a packet of apple jam, which which is actually from a NATO ration that I reviewed previously. I have a sachet of matcha green tea. Not only is it nice to have a hot drink to boost your morale if shit hits the fan, but also green tea has antimicrobial properties, so you put this in a small amount of water and you can rinse a wound with it to help clean it out. Obviously, you can last for a long time without food, but it's always nice to have a little bit for morale. So here I've got some tuna fish in vegetable oil, just a small 80-gram can, but it's enough to give you vital energy to keep you going if you are stopped in an emergency. Now on this side I have another isotonic drink with vitamins. I have here some cocoa cream, which is basically like Nutella. I can use this just straight out the packet to eat for some needed sugar, or I can put it into some water and make it into a nice hot chocolate. And I've also got a sachet of freeze-dried coffee to give you that energy boost or a little bit of more wakefulness if you need to keep going through the day or night. In here I also have a couple of pieces of chewing gum. I might run out of water, my mouth will be dry. One good way of keeping your mouth feeling moist is some chewing gum. And finally here I have a bag which inside not only contains 6 Esbit tablets, so I can boil some water, contains a box of safety matches, a small little metal stove, and I have 4 aqua tabs for sterilising my water if, for example, I couldn't heat it up at that moment. There are a couple of items in here which I've taken out in the last couple of days and forgotten to put back in, and that includes a pair of leather gloves, which you don't know when you're going to need gloves in case you've got something spiky or sharp, or maybe something hot that you need to touch for a short space of time. And also, as I said at the beginning, my amount of water that I normally carry in this is usually a little bit larger. I'd say around about 1.5 litres to 2 litres at a time. I knew I had water in the car with me today, so I didn't put as much in my bag as normal, but as a rule I want 1.5 to 2 litres of water in this. Yes, I can probably get water out in nature somewhere, but it is summer here in Greece and things are very, very dry, so it is not as easy as normal to pick up things like water. The nearest stream from me here is a few hundred meters away, but it is down a sheer vertical cliff, which makes it a little bit tricky. In winter time, of course, my bag will change. This bag will actually get a little bit larger as I carry some more thermal gear in there, but as a rule, this is my spring to summer EDC. So that was everything in my EDC bag, or everyday carry bag. Just a small bag with lots of different things I may need during the day, and also in case of an emergency. So that was my bag. What's in your bag? Do let me know in the comment section below. But for now, thanks for watching, take care, much love, see you next time.